Sorry for such a long delay between videos, but this project took up a lot of my time, plus some personal stuff. So this has been a nightmare. I don't recommend anybody doing a custom like this. This is stupid. I did this because a good friend of mine asked me to, begged me to do it. I should have said no, but I'm an idiot. So this is a like a one touch for a comic book. So same as like what I do the cards in, but comic book size, roughly an 8x10 or so. Not as thick though, which does prevent or prove to be a problem in a couple of different ways. You'll see that coming down the line, but this is it's not a good idea. So the depth is not as good, which affects how it looks. It takes a lot more time to do this than it does a regular custom sports card, or even a custom sports card sized thing, like a regular picture, or such as a sports card made from pictures of like a pet or a loved one or a graduation or you name it. So you'll see one of those coming up in a couple of days, maybe a week or so. They're also a little bit more expensive, but that's definitely not the point. It's like I don't know, maybe $20 for one of these or so, depending on which size you get or which style you get or how readily available they are. But the cost is not something that should deter you. The rest of it is what should deter you. So maybe they can be better than the way I make them, but to me they're not worth my time. I think I would need different materials and stuff like that to do it with. I don't think you can use traditional sports cards, but that's kind of why I'm doing any of this crap. So being I don't know that I can maximize how good it looks with sports cards, I tend to have a little bit of a sour taste with these. I will say this one ended up coming out better than the previous two that I did. I know the previous two people really appreciated that I did them, but I personally think they came out like shit. No matter who does them or what the sentiment behind it is, quality is quality, and lack of quality is lack of quality. So I try to keep that focused that way, so that way I push myself to do better. So these are pictures that I got from the customer himself. I obviously cut them up like you would a normal sports card or whatnot. So you want to use the same image selection process that you would use for a sports card. You want to make sure nothing's obstructing it, make sure it's going to be the right size. Means these were pictures that were printed, and it's not a normal size sports card, if you will. You can adjust it if you get them printed or whatnot. Making sure that they're the right size is also a big deal. That can be a little bit of trial and error. So just because you get a 4x8 picture printed up doesn't mean that the image is going to be the right size within the borders that you plan on putting it in. So I use the insert of the actual comic book case to size the cardstock that I have at my house. So you're going to want to use 2 pieces of cardstock for this. I used a pen and just put corner markers on the left top and left bottom corners, and then just use the actual natural border of the paper to get my 4 sides. So there's my 2 pieces cut right there. So like I said, this is a pain. This part is easy compared to everything else that's coming up. So for this stuff, I also used I wasn't sure what I was going to use for the background. I always double check your size, make sure you're measure twice, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to get too far into the project and then remember to put it back into the case and go, oh shit, this doesn't fit. Now what do I do? Alright, so in between the 2 cardstock pieces, you're going to want to use, I used just regular sports cards. I've done this process before for other projects. I just kind of sized them out to see if maybe they fit perfectly. If they didn't, rearrange them, because it's going to add more structural stability to basically the card that you're making, if you will. I cheated, or got lazy, however you want to look at it like this. This is me just arranging them. I ended up gluing them in that way as well. I didn't fill in the gaps there. There they are glued, just because with the cardstock on the bottom, the cards in the middle, and the cardstock on the top, it wasn't going to create much of an issue. So you would not be wrong to fill in the gaps. I also don't think it's 100% necessary. That's completely a personal preference. I can tell you that in the end, it did not matter as far as the structural integrity of the piece itself. So it added enough rigidity, which was what I was looking for. And again, making this with mostly sports cards is the name of the game. So that's the finished product there. That's roughly how thick it is. So basically an oversized oversized sports stock or sports card. So that's a generic unlicensed picture of a gymnasium with no real markings in it that you can see on purpose, because that's what we decided to use as a background to kind of make it. This is going to be more of a traditional picture, less of a sports card, just something made from sports cards. So that's the cardstock bottom, made all pretty. The school colors are gold and blue, so I decided to go with this. I knew what vinyl that I had. I did not want to go over the top with the glitter and the pizzazz of this, because the customer is like, he likes some of it but not over the top stuff, so I had to kind of like taper myself back a little bit. So I left the back undone. So again, just double checking again, making sure everything fits right. So with the bottom, I realized that I needed to have some sort of border. I wanted to do a border that stood up like the one that I did for Run Good Life's custom card, the 360 point. Almost like there's no border, but there's still kind of a shadow box effect. So I made strips. I measured the depth of the sides of the case, and that's kind of where I got my dimensions from. Then I glued sports cards onto cardstock. It worked out pretty well. It was not bad. It's definitely something you're going to have to double and triple check as you're cutting and measuring, just to make sure it's done right. Then you're going to want to do both sides in vinyl. Not at the same time. You do one side, cut, flip it over, put the other side down on the vinyl like that, cut. So, yep, there you go. Take your time. This is not a fun project. It is a long, tedious project. So this is definitely, this is me measuring the sides to make sure it roughly would fit. Obviously I have to trim them a little bit. You want them to overlap just a skosh, because you're going to want the ends to kind of meet somewhere. So gluing these borders on, literally a nightmare. I like the way that it looks when it's done, but the process to do this on such a large scale, even on a 360 point card, but on this scale, is just absolutely a nightmare. Pardon my negative tone of voice with all this, but I just hate this project. I don't like this size. It's very tough. It's nice size for a regular picture, if you will, but definitely not my cup of tea or something that is fun for me. So what I did was I glued the actual pieces itself, the borders, and then I stuck them to the side of the bottom card, if you will. But to do that, then you have to manually hold it for a few minutes till the glue gets tacky. Then you got to prop it up against something, almost like a vise or something. Obviously, you're not going to do that with cardboard, but same principle applies. Like I said, there could be better tools for this, even better methodologies. This is just what I have done. So I used my box of cards to keep the middle down so it didn't bow up, because if it bows up, the sides, which are also very flimsy, they will not match correctly, and then you'll have a nightmare. If it completely dries like that, trying to fix that probably would have mean I would have had to start over from scratch. So I used my ruler to keep up on the one side, the box of cards to keep down the middle, and it was just a slow process. Also, when I used the glue stick, but when that was done, I would run a little bead of my Elmer's clear glue, the liquid glue, and that's the finished product. Like I said, an absolute pain in the ass, but so same as before, dry run, make sure everything fits. That's how I secured the picture to the back. The pictures are very flimsy. You want to add more structural supports than less. You still just don't want to see them. You want to give it just a little bit of a raised effect. So I think it's 7 cards deep. So I think I only put 4 behind the picture in the spots that you just saw. Made sure that the spacing was right or close or whatever. Made sure that it did give the effect I was looking for, and then I did it one player at a time. The players, you had to, there wasn't a lot of space to put a lot of cards to kind of like give it that full 3D effect. But 7 cards at the bottom, which was where I could glue it to the actual card. Then I also used spacers at the middle of the body and the torso. I think I did 4 cards like in her chest and the ball to kind of keep them. You got to do it every so often, otherwise the picture will bow and it will like rest onto the other picture, and then the whole 3D effect thing will be completely gone, which is kind of the allure of doing this. You'll also see in the corner of the bottom card, I added those blue like corner brackets. I did that just to add a little bit more support, so that way it not only did it look a little bit better, but also it made it a little bit stronger. It actually kind of came out pretty good. I didn't think that it was going to, but a little thing I experimented with and it kind of worked out well. So these are the nameplates. very narrow. I did not give myself a lot of room, and that's pretty much what it looked like when it was done. So I blurted out her name because obviously that's none of your guys' business, and she's a child, so also none of your guys' business. But that's the finished product. That's what it looked like. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but at least it looked okay. Unlike the other two that I did, they looked more like collages and just arts and crafts nightmare. So, but they're on 2 regular card stands. I mean, there's no frames for these outside of the plastic cases, but like I said, I liked it. I think it came out all right. Not too glittery and too arts and craftsy, but I enjoyed it. So, all right. This is not to pitch likes or any of that kind of crap. I don't like that stuff. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it should be the same handle as at Adult Arts and Crafts. I only suggest that because I try to go and do live sessions every so often now, and just stream live, and some other card artists will jump in and they'll join as well, and I'll add them so you can see our videos and stuff, and we'll be making cards, you know, as we're going. And a lot of times I'll have the audience help pick out, like whoever's on, pick out colors, pick out patch placement, just for fun. They're obviously not like a card that somebody's already paid for, or a customer's card, because I'm not going to have a group of people pick that out. But if you want to see the process firsthand, you know, ask questions just for fun, literally just log in and talk shit and not even talk about, you know, arts and crafts or any of that kind of crap, that's fine too. We just try to have fun. So I prefer the Instagram live to the YouTube live, just a better platform in my opinion. More user friendly on our end. So, but all right, thanks for watching the video. See you next time.